passenger vehicle segment has witnessed a 12% growth in February of 2024 in India. Now, passenger vehicles sales at 330,000 units and above in February is the highest February sales ever in the history, as per the auto retail body data, Federation of Automobile Dealers Association, FADA. Now, all top 5 car makers such as Maruti, Hyundai Motors, Tata Motors, Mahindra & Mahindra, Toyota Kirloskar logged record year-on-year domestic sales last month. On different segments specifically, two-wheeler sales grew by 13%, while three-wheeler sales grew by 24%, tractor sales at a relatively low of 11% and commercial vehicles at the lowest at 5%. Overall, February recorded an on-year growth of 13% in auto retail in India. What is this figure? What does this mean for India, and how many cars and passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles are Indians buying, and what's the trend line like? We'll elaborate on that. Joining us is Manish Raj Singhania, is the President FADA. Also with me is Krishnakumar here in the studio. But I would go to Mr. Singhania first. Sir, thank you for taking time out. I think the big question that comes to one's mind when we look at this data, at a record 13% growth overall in year to date as well as year to year category across all categories of passengers to commercial vehicles to three-wheelers. What are you making of these numbers? What has pumped up these numbers?
So actually it was indeed a very good month for auto retail here in India, and we have been really doing numbers very well. The most two segments that we were worried about was tractors and two-wheelers. And those two segments have also shown out the best in the month of February. And not only passenger car, the three-wheeler, tractors and commercial vehicles, those have also reported the ever highest February month retail. So that's a good going for auto retail. Primarily, if you ask me why, I think the trend continues in passenger car towards SUV. SUV is now more or less contributing almost 60% of the retail passenger car volume, and similarly dealers continue to attract new bookings, new walk-in for the SUV segment. And also, if you look at the kind of launches the OEMs are coming up, the new products that the OEMs are coming up in this segment has further attracted customers. The vehicles are now very feature-rich, very safe. All this has garnered good bookings in this segment. Plus, the waiting periods that the segment used to command, that has come down substantially. More or less, every model is now available at showroom. But only few variants are kind of, in booking. So the ease of supply has also attracted customers. Plus, we have a marriage season going on. That has also further attracted customers. The rural economy seems to be recovering and has started contributing its own bit in the overall retail volumes. From our members' feedback, we definitely got that the entry-level segment of two-wheelers has started performing and giving results. So, overall,
you've packed a lot of information there. Let me break it down for our viewers. Let's come to the inventory first, because you said the waiting period for passengers, or for customers rather, has reduced drastically in the last month. Inventories are also at about 50-day high, if my memory serves me right, for the month of February. Is that concerning to you?
Yeah, definitely. I think out of the auto retail space, where everything is going good, everything is happening on the positive side, it is the only PV inventory that is worrying the dealers. The inventory level continues to hover around 50 to 55 days, and dealers have to work on a very thin margin. And just paying off 50% of your dealer margin to banks doesn't serve the purpose. So 30 days inventory.
What is your suggestion to OEMs? Are we likely to see some more offers therefore in the month of March?
Yeah, definitely. March is always a month of offers, and though this time Navratra is falling in April, but March always due to year-end buying and year-end discounts, and this time due to high inventory, dealers are also carrying year 23 stocks with them. The consumer can definitely expect higher schemes and discount on those models. plus calibrated with the merchant offers. So it's a good time for consumer to buy vehicles.
Right, in general, there is lots of talk about where is consumer sentiment in India. When you talk about consumer sentiment in the country, in a consumption-driven economy, something like auto and the people's ability to keep buying cars is a very important indicator of consumer sentiment, isn't it? And so, in that sense, do you see that the trend in February continuing? If it's so, for how long?
So, the consumer sentiments, if you talk about till now, we were seeing only the urban or semi-urban consumer sentiments. It was pretty high, and Bharat of India was lagging behind. That is the rural economy. But since September, we are seeing some changes here. We are seeing that our rural sector or rural RTOs have started contributing in towards retail, and uh, plus, I think all this is very much calibrated because you can relate to the higher yield of crops. Rural economy definitely took a longer time from recovery from COVID compared to urban economy. Urban sector already had money in hand, disposable money in hand, and like you wanted to live your life and all that. And that requirement of vehicle is always there. Plus the contribution of GDP that's our country is able to garner a higher GDP growth in everywhere, and every possible sector is in a
Okay.
positive mode. All this has contributed to retail numbers.
Absolutely. And at two-wheeler sales at 13% and tractor at 11%, are you happy with those numbers? Do you see that number also going up? Because that's also an indicator of how the rural economy is functioning. Are those numbers in line with expectations?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I cannot say we do definitely expect a higher retail from two-wheeler segment because still there is a huge potential there. But the recovery will not happen suddenly. It will happen over a period of time. The kind of money the central government is now able to transfer directly to the bank accounts of customers, all these have continuously and higher MSP for the crop. All this has over a period of time led to the recovery of rural market, and thus
Okay.
we can see even higher two-wheeler retails coming in. And for the tractors, all tractors post COVID we saw an all-time high figure, and surpassing those all-time high figures at with this 7% or 5% growth, 11% growth from tractors, it's very substantial. So,
Right.
and right now, tractors are not only serving the purpose of agriculture. After COVID, almost 25 to 30% of the market has switched for transportation purposes, whether it is in terms of various kinds of goods like for infrastructure project, bricks, cement, sand. In fact, in rural area, people are also transported through tractors. So
Right.
all this has led to the continuous growth of this segment.
All right. And there cannot be a discussion on auto without a discussion on EV. So I want to understand from you, of the 1.5 million electric vehicles sold in last 1 year, 1 million were approximately two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Only about 500,000 were passenger cars. In that regard, what sort of uptake are we looking at as far as sales of EVs in passenger car market is concerned? We do know that they account for about 50% sales of your three-wheelers and largely a substantial share of your two-wheelers. But in passenger vehicles, what sort of trend are we looking at? Are people buying more EVs?
So, for passenger car, what we need is right now is our legacy players who have been in the market with a good strong brand. They need to come out with their own range of products, affordable products also. EVs, coming in price band of 15-20 lakh plus, that will not help increase the penetration of EV. We need affordable EVs which are in line with their ICE counterparts, and where consumers see some value. I think that's it. And a lot of OEMs have already planned a lot of launches in EV segment. And coming year, we already know so many OEMs are coming with so many launches in EV. All this will definitely excite the EV segment.
What's
Passenger
the
car,
current share, Mr. Singhania? Any clue on what is the current share of EVs in passenger vehicles?
so it hovers around 3%, 2.5%, 3%.
And is that increasing?
Pardon?
Is that share increasing, sir, month on month?
No, it's more or less stable right now. It's just, it has a marginal growth of 0.2%, 0.25% or around.
Okay. And before I let you go, there were also news items floating around as of this morning that there could be an extension in FAME scheme. Additional 500 crore rupees could be allocated. Now, government has come out denying any extension on FAME subsidy at all. Is there an expectation that there should be an incentive on the buyer's side?
So definitely what we need to understand is the two crucial years of FAME subsidy we lost during COVID times. We could not, the market, neither the consumer, neither the OEM nor dealers or anybody could capitalize on what the government offered. So considering to that, government should definitely think about extending FAME subsidy for 2 years so that the EV concept is well established in the market, and further on it would not require support, just like as we see in three-wheeler. There is now you don't require much support in three-wheeler because the usage or economics of a three-wheeler, EV three-wheeler is well established. Similarly, we need just, in two-wheeler, we just have around 5.5% in EV penetration, car is 2%. So these are very low figures. Right now, definitely these segments need support, and in the long term, obviously, as per us, minimum 2 years is what we can look for support, FAME support from the central government.
All right. There is an expectation, of course, of FAME support. Whether that will happen or not, we don't know. Mr. Singhania, thank you very much for taking time out. Always pleasure listening to you. Thank you for joining us here on Newsline.